It was enacted in the wake of the worst terrorist attack in our country that took the lives of nearly 3,000 people.
It was October 26, 2001, or 45 days after 9/11, the Patriots Act was first passed. The Patriots Act gives law enforcement officers the right to search a home or business without the owners or the managers knowing. On May 26, 2011, Congress passed a 4-year extension to the Act. After the extension, the Act will end on June 1, 2015. When they extended the Patriots Act, there were some things changed and added. This also allows the FBI to search telephone and email records in addition to bank and spending records without a court order, and the expanded access of law enforcement agencies to business records, including library and financial records. The Patriots Act allows the government to obtain any tangible thing that has to do with a terrorist investigation, even if there is no proof that the item had any connection with the investigation. The provision contradicts traditional search and seizure, which requires the government to show suspicion for searching somebody's personal belongings.
At work, I'm affected by it because I have to do training each year to make sure that we're paying attention to suspicious activity, since I deal with people's money, and to be aware of money laundering and other kind of movement of money that could be funding terroristic activities.
Before the Patriots Act, law enforcement officers have been using roving wiretaps to investigate ordinary crimes, including drug offenses and racketeering. A roving wiretap enables the government to tap into other electrical devices. For example, if they tapped a surveillance camera, they would see what the camera sees. These can be used by a federal judge to apply to a particular suspect rather than a particular phone or communications device. Because terrorists are smart and know how to outwit surveillance by rapidly moving to different locations and communication devices, such as cell phones or laptops, the Patriots Act changes this by forcing agents to ask for court permissions to use the same techniques in national security investigations to track terrorists, making things so that the court has more control over terrorist and drug trafficking investigations.
I think I might have been like everybody else who was scared at the time, and I might have voted for it. I don't like the idea of giving up our liberties. It's one of the things that makes us unique, I think, as Americans. And so I think it's really dangerous to give up those freedoms. But at the time, it was a really scary time, and I think that the sunset provision was a wise way to approach it initially, where we said, hey, we'll give this up for a period of time, but not forever.
This act will help law enforcement be able to identify and put a stop to terrorism and illegal activities that could hurt our country. With the Patriots Act in place, the government is stronger, and now the citizens of the United States can be better protected and feel safer.
They want better performance from their intelligence community so that we can keep them safe.
Why would we weaken the ability of our intelligence community at a time when the threats against this country have never been greater?
The Patriots Act is probably one of the most complicated acts that has ever been passed, with more than 6,000 different sections of enforced laws and rules. This act was originally made for the benefit of war veterans. With several revisions, the Patriots Act now benefits all American citizens. This very important act was also created because of the 9/11 attack, and it seems to be working because no terrorist attacks of that caliber have happened since.
The reason the Patriots Act was made in part of war veterans of America because the American government wanted to help keep veterans safe from terrorist activities or threats by shutting down terrorists before they do any real damage.
Probably is helping in terms of keeping us safer. We probably won't ever have access to the information around how many threats were actually stopped because of the Patriot Act.
Since the Patriots Act has been passed, several legal obstacles have been brought against the act, and federal courts have said that in a number of exceptions the FBI and law enforcement officers have are unconstitutional. Many people think the Patriots Act is an invasion of personal privacy. Jared Polis shows that he agrees with this statement by saying, "At a time like this, we should re-examine the restoration of our constitutional protections. This is the type of government intrusions which the Bill of Rights were designed to prevent."
I would put more restrictions on the government's ability to spy on us because it feels like it's infringing on our freedoms.
The Patriots Act makes the right to freedom of speech and right to protection from unreasonable searches and seizures weaker and less effective. Although the act does this, it also helps keep people safe if there is a terrorist threat.